And the people of this country realize that if the people we elected to go up to Washington, if they did the duties of the Constitution, that this great country wouldn't be going through this turmoil of campaign funding scandals and the Internal Revenue Service scandals. If our country was just ran by the Constitution, our government wouldn't be in our economics, and our government would be held to just what it could be taxed. We wouldn't have the Internal Revenue Service. And as a starch libertarian, I wish we were back to that. I really do.
Thanks, caller.
I think this is a question for you, Brian.
I think this is the time to push the next button. Princess Anne, Maryland, you're next.
All right, thank you.
You're on the air.
Okay. Good morning, Brian.
Morning.
Thank you for your great coverage of world affairs. And I have a question for Mr. Tamraz that does stray from his usual line of questions that are asked him. Since, Mr. Tamraz, you have connections in very high places of the business community, how close are we to a worldwide monopoly by a few people of our business community to forming this monopoly? Are we gravitating towards such a condition in world business?
Thanks.
I don't think so. I think it's true that we need size because we're now a global economy, and therefore, as you can see, Wall Street firms are eating up other Wall Street firms. Airline industries are doing the same. But as the chairman of Boeing said the other day on C-SPAN, that even if we were two, my big problem is not lack of competition, it's innovation, it's technology. If you let the baton down, somebody else will pick it up. So I'm not too worried about cartels at this stage.
By the way, were you able to watch the replays on the hearings where you testified?
Yes, I was.
What was your reaction stepping outside of yourself watching it?
I thought I did pretty well.
Next call, Joliet, Illinois. Go ahead, please.
Hi, Brian, and
Hi.
Thank you again. And I understand Mr. Tamraz is not under oath now when he was speaking before the committee, but he testified that he gave a business card to the president, who took a few steps forward, turned around, and came back. And now he's saying that he gave it to Mr. McClarty. I would like clarification on that.
Well, I don't know where it said that I gave it to the president, but I did give a business card to McClarty at the coffee house with my brochure, and it's the only time I ever gave any business card to anyone in the White House.
Caller?
Back was not handed to the president in a reception line.
No, I did not. I think you're mixing it with somebody else who did hand a card to the president, and that was a person testifying the day after me.
I doubt that.
She's doubting you now because you're not under oath. Does that surprise you?
Well, the facts are the facts. I think the testimony is there, and I said that I gave the business card to McClarty. I don't think you give business cards to presidents when you meet them. It's just not ethical. He would not have been interested anyway. But I know that there's another businessman who testified the next day and said he gave a business card to the president. And I think she's mixing this up with me.
Rosemary McCaffrey of Leawood, Kansas, has this fax. Thank you for your honesty. Please expand on your statement on Robert Rubin's donations and purchase of Secretary of Treasury position.
Well, again, I did not say that he purchased anything. I just gave an example that Mr. Rubin or Mr. Rowayton or many other ambassadors or cabinet ministers over the years have donated and have also helped the party. It doesn't mean that Mr. Rubin or Mr. Rowayton, their only call to fame is they donated. They're also extremely intelligent men, extremely hard worker, highly ethical people who have worked for years and years to the Democratic Party, plus donating. So it is part of a package. It is certainly not the only thing.
Next call, we go to Middletown, Ohio. You're on the air.
Good morning, Brian.
Morning.
Good morning, Mr. Tamraz.
Good morning, ma'am.
Brian, I've tried for 4 years. I'm thrilled.
Welcome.
Mr. Tamraz, I watched you in the hearings, and you said that you went to barbecues, you went to saw movies, and what I would like to ask you, Mr. Tamraz, what movie did you see, and who sat with you and the president in the movie?
I saw Independence Day That was the movie. It was before it was released. What's your second question?
Who can watch the movie with you and the president? Who's with you and Mr.?
Oh, there was about 50 people invited, and his family, and Chelsea was there. It was a very nice Saturday afternoon.
Where?
At the White House.
Another question, caller?
Did you sit in the seat with him, next to him?
No, I did not. I was behind.
No, okay, and I thank you.
Thank you.
Caller? Oh, I thought she was gone. Let's go to Baldwinsville, New York. You're next.
How you doing, Brian?
Good. Welcome.
Hi. Mr. Tamraz, you were a Republican Eagle first.
Yes.
Okay, so you got access to being a Republican Eagle first. But Brian and Republican span don't want to put that on there. They got down to you're a Democratic fundraising guy because they want to stop in that time period. They don't want to go a little before and show that you were doing it with the Republicans. Mr. Burton was on Meet the Press, and when asked, did you make fundraising calls from your office? He said he couldn't remember. Here's a man who doesn't remember if he broke the law, but yet he's investigating everybody in the House. And on the Republican side, you got Haley Barbour, who's got a grand jury, and you got Brian investigating him. And Brian, these guys don't even bring that on the show. When we know Haley Barbour took $2 million from a foreign government, at least you're an American, and here they're putting you on. And you accepted it from the Republicans first. After they seen you were giving money to the Democrats, they started crying and stomping their feet and going, wait a minute, that's illegal, that's illegal. And they started showing all these illegal things. But they didn't show that they first. I mean, what do you think about that? You did give them $250,000 to become a Republican Eagle, did you not?
Well, as I say, I wasn't bothered by being called in. If you do things legally and you're called in by whoever committee wants to call you in, then there's no problem. So I don't blame anybody. In my business, I need to discuss issues. I needed to discuss them with the Reagan administration. I need to discuss them with the Democratic and maybe in future administration. Issues that concern our general security overseas, which you don't always have a good hearing with bureaucrats because they're very tough issues. That's all there is to it. And I thank God we have that system and we can go through it, and it will weed out the people who shouldn't be there.
Will you give money to politicians in the future?
I have no problem. I mean, this experiment has not bothered me. Now it depends how they're going to change the law. I hear a lot about change, but I'm waiting. As I said, they set the rules and we'll follow them.
Now, if they give you back the money from the Democratic National Committee, or would you turn around and try to give it back to them?
Not necessarily. I don't force my money on anyone.
Well, you think they will not receive it?
I don't know. Everything is open. You know, we live in an instant society. I think nowadays people are excited. Maybe in 6 months it will be old history.
Jamestown, New York, you're next.
Hello, Brian.
Morning.
Yeah, I'm a first-time caller, and the first thing I'd like to say is I appreciate the fact that nobody behind the scenes seemed to want to screen my call as to what are you going to ask or anything, and I think